Okay, Assalamualaikum and hi. So I will be presenting about my pulse reflection slide. And my name is AQILAH DAYINI binti ABDUL and my matrix number is 225174. So pulse is actually the early school experience FCE3804 code, course code. And I went for a 2-week pulse experience. So here is my slide. There are 4 main elements I'm going to present into this slide, which is the first one is the school background, and then the second one is the observation in classroom activities. Next one is a reflection on school and work culture, and the last element is conclusion for the whole my pulse reflection experience. The first slide, we are going to talk about the school background. So the school that I went for my early school experience is Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Jati, SMK Jati. It is established in 2022 with 200 something students and less than 20 teachers. And right now, it currently accommodates 959 students and 74 teachers in total, and it operates in dual session, which is we have morning and afternoon session. The school is located in Ipoh, Perak, and it is approximately 10 kilometers away from the city centre. The vision, mission and tagline of the school is, the first one, the vision is quality education, nurtured individuals, prosperous nation. And the mission of the school is actually to sustain a quality education system and to develop individual potential. And then the school's tagline is berilmu, bersetia, berjati diri, which means berilmu is the students will need to seek knowledge, bersetia means to be loyal, and berjati diri means to have their own identity or dignity. Moving on to the school infrastructure or facility. So the first one, we have our assembly site or main hall. And then next we have the school canteen. Next, we have surau divided to 2 surau, the male students and female students surau. And then next, we have the school library. We also have school laboratory, which is we have 4 laboratory in total. We have biology, chemistry and physics, and also science laboratory. And then we also have the examination hall, which is actually a classroom, and we can open it during the examination season. And then we also have mini-mart for students to buy drinks or food that we don't have in our school canteen. We also have SPBT store, and then finally, of course, we have classes. So for the classroom environment in the school is, I think the school is pretty well lit. Each class rarely have any dark colored curtains. Most class also is very clean, no rubbish on the floor or whatsoever, because the teachers actually ask the students to frequently clean the classroom. And in my opinion, most classes arrange the tables very neatly and according to the 21st century learning education system. And this arrangement actually allows the student to actually engage in discussion or but at the same time they can gain their focus more in the class session. Moving on to the observation on classroom activities. So I think the advantage of each classroom activities is the blend of teacher-centered and student-centered approach. I went to 2 classroom monitoring sessions with my guidance teacher back then. And the first class, she uses teacher-centered approach for the class with lower proficiency level, while the class with higher proficiency level uses student-centered approach. And then she also used a lot of multimedia and interactive methods in order to gain the students' focus and attention. And then in my opinion, the lesson plans actually align with the CEFR standards. While I think the disadvantage for the classroom activities is actually less room for creativity due to the limited space in each classroom. The teaching aids being used in each classroom activities is basically 3 simplest things, which is the whiteboard, of course, and then the students will use a textbook provided by the government. And then lastly, the teachers also use a projector to display the slides, the colorful slides, in order to further gain the students' attention and interest in learning. Okay, moving on to the pedagogical practice. So I went for 2 classroom monitoring session. The first class is 4 Zeta, which is the lower proficiency level, which the teacher used teacher-centered approach, where the teacher rarely give the students way or chance to speak or anything. She just basically just teach using the whiteboard, mainly on the whiteboard, and mainly use the textbook provided. And then for the other class, which is the higher proficiency level, which is 3 Epsilon, the teacher used a student-centered approach more. The teacher asked students to get involved, to discuss among them, rarely tell directly about what they are going to learn today, and she uses projectors as visual aids to gain students' interest. And then for the lesson plan preparation, the school or the teacher uses ERPH, or it's called Rancangan Pengajaran Harian, where the teacher actually need to key in some sort of thing or the criteria or requirement needed in the system. And then it is actually adjusted according to the student learning needs, and teachers also provided additional exercises to further reinforce the students' understanding. So for the HOTS implementation, I think the teacher uses simple but effective implementation that suits to the students' level. And in most classes, students are actually encouraged to reason, analyze, and construct sentences and paragraphs. So I think student-centered approach actually empower learner to make decisions and build independence in their own learning style or learning preference. So how is this pulse is going to help me as a future teacher? So I think this course is actually allowing me to see how the teachers design lesson to make students reason, analyze, and construct ideas instead of just memorizing facts. And then based on my observation, it's actually training me to actually start to think, to adapt my future teaching style for both intermediate and higher proficiency level. And actually, I need to help my students to get everyone participate and progress. And this early school experience actually giving me a practical experience to inspire and guide me to actually see how teachers actually functioning at the school, how they actually do their job, and how we actually not only teach, but we also need to cater a lot of things in order to ensure holistic or overall learning session for our future students. So for the reflection on school culture part, the advantage of my school culture is, I think the culture is actually building the students' unity, leadership, spirituality, multilingualism, and resilience in students. Because why I said it's going to build the unity, leadership, and spirituality in students, because most of my school culture actually involve the whole school community. And multilingualism, the speaker's corner culture, weekly speaker's corner culture, allows students to speak their mind, their thoughts, both in English and Malay language, and resilience in students. And then for the spirituality part, which is my school culture, where the students actually need to have a solat jemaah session before they go back to home, actually tell students how important religion is, how they are going to manage their spiritual level. And then for the disadvantage part, I think assembles and spiritual programs can be quite repetitive for the students, and they can get bored of it, and then it actually take time from lessons. The time allocated for each session can actually be used for a learning session. And then the school culture actually may not engage or includes all students equally, especially the one with different religion, belief, or anything. And then moving on to the reflection on work culture, I think the advantage of my school's work culture is where the school actually put strong emphasis on punctuality and professionalism, and this is very important for teachers. Teachers need to have punctuality and professionalism in teaching, because if teachers are not punctual, and then we are going to take the students' learning time that they deserve. And then the next advantage is actually it provides a collaborative and supportive environment among staff, teachers, and students itself. While the disadvantage of the work culture in our school is, I think, is going to give the teachers heavy workload, burnout. We are going to have burnt out teachers, and maybe it's going to result in unequal participation from some teachers. So the importance of school and work culture to teacher professionalism, I think both school and work culture will actually help to develop the professional image that a teacher need to have. Being a teacher, you need to be really professional. Like, you need to separate between personal and work matters, and you cannot be someone who is very emotional, who thinks with your emotion. You need to think professionally in solving problems, students' problem, or even maybe workplace problem. And next, the importance of the school and work culture, I think, is to gain deeper insight into students' needs and to foster stronger classroom relationships. So when the teachers are actually professional, students will think highly of their teachers. Students will put high respect to the teachers, because the teachers are actually very professional. So moving on to the conclusion and suggestion for improvement. And I think the early school experience course, this course actually helps in deepening my understanding of school culture, classroom management, and effective teaching practice. And I could actually see how the school actually operates. It's not only about teaching, it's all about system, paperworks, programs, how we are going to develop our students' well-being, how are we going to develop our students' leadership, students' personality solely based on our teaching style or extracurricular activities in school. So it also prepares me to be a very flexible, resourceful, and student-centered future teachers that are committed to actually help develop students' holistic development. And the last part, based on this early school experience course, is the Sulam part, where I actually gained the idea of doing an English pen pal project, where us university students will have connection with secondary students, pen pal project, where we are going to write letters or emails or even a simple chat with them, get connected with them, to build community engagement, community connections, while actually developing academic and personal growth. And the students itself might act as the mentor. The secondary school students actually can ask for the university students' advice or maybe guidance about how they are going to pursue their studies after this, ask for opinions or anything. And then at the same time, the students actually can practice meaningful English writing and improve language proficiency through this program. Because, like I mentioned before, the program will let the students to communicate with university students who have higher proficiency level through emails, through letter writing or anything. And it is a very good program, I would say. Simple but meaningful and impactful. So that is all for my presentation, for my early school experience pulse reflection slide presentation. Thank you.